First thing I want to do is introduce Brent Mihalik. For those of you who have not met him, he is our brand new city administrator. We are delighted to have him on board, and we're very much looking forward to working with Brent. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I'd like to say shiny new, but I've got too many grays to get there, so definitely not shiny new.
Yeah, we weren't looking for shiny new.
Good.
All right, let's see. First up is the approval of minutes. Everybody have a chance to take a look at them?
Move to approve.
Oh, second.
Got a motion, second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Claims in the amount of $686,909.79.
For the last, I don't have any questions today.
Oh, come on, give her a hard time. Just our normal bills this time, for the most part.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Training for Red Dot instructors.
Good evening. So we have various instructors on staff certified through the state. Helps us keep up with our certifications, our mandated training hours, as well as doing a bunch of in-house training. One of those areas of expertise is firearms instruction. Several officers around the country have adopted red dot optics for their pistols. You have to have a special certification to instruct that. So to allow our firearms instructors to continue to qualify the individuals that choose to use red dot optics, we need to send them to a red dot optics certification school for teaching it. We don't have enough money in the current training budget to send 3 officers to do that. So I'm proposing that we use the $3,723 out of the Police Special Revenue Fund undesignated account to send these officers to that training.
I'll move we approve, but I do have a question.
Second?
Motion is second to approve. Randy?
Is there any conceivable project in your head that as we move and prepare to go into the new facility that you could use that money for that we're dipping into? I know it's not a lot, but all of a sudden there's a change order and you need 10 grand for something.
Maybe. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's
Nothing
for,
off the top of your head right now.
No, nothing off the top of my head that I can see. And that fund is traditionally used. I mean, we used it to help replace some of the computers, right? We add to that fund with donations and things throughout the year that people donate to us. That's what it's for, is for when things come up that we need to do that we don't have the money in the budget for, we can kind of supplement it with that.
Okay.
So I had a question about the technology. I think the red dot seems great to me, from my firearm experience. Do they request to purchase that, to add that to their issued weapon?
Yep, they can purchase that with their uniform allowance that they get allotted every year. The department's not buying that.
So they're able, but you're supporting it by helping them, they need to be trained
Yes.
to use it?
Yes,
Okay.
and the other thing to go along with that is a lot of the recruits that we're seeing coming out of the recruit academies are going about this and getting those optics and training on those.
Sure.
So as we hire people, as we have vacancies, we're going to end up with people that are carrying the red dot anyway. We're going to have some way to certify them.
It's what people are looking for. So it just interests us, this is a slightly side point, but I know you have talked before about the cost of sending your officers for training, and that if we had more space, which we will in the near future, that you might be able to offer training to other departments. Do you see that on the horizon at all?
For an example, a class like this, right, which is in northern Wisconsin, that we have to send 3 officers to, right, hotel rooms, travel, things like
Right.
that. We have a training space at our new facility. We can reach out to the company and ask them to put on a training. We'd be the host agency. We're local, we're home.
Yeah.
We don't have to travel, and we generally get some free admission with it.
Sure, and other departments perhaps
And
could
other departments
come
would
and
be able to
use
come.
it as a resource, so,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Discussion and possible action on the downtown parking lot lighting feasibility study. Mike?
Good evening, everyone. Michael Moraz, Director of Public Works. So some of you may recall this came out of COVID and some of the problems that we experienced in our downtown area, specifically in our parking lots and alleyways. Kind of getting around to it now. I don't know what the holdup was. I don't know why. But anyways, Aaron McPhee Anderson had reached out to SCH to do a downtown parking lot lighting study. And basically what we would do is SCH would come in-house and they would do an evaluation of our current lighting, an inventory. They would offer any recommendations for new lighting equipment. They would look at levels along the riverway because there's certain things that we can and can't do in the per NR 118. And so bringing this forward for your review, the amount that was quoted for us was $7,800 to do this work. And it would come out of the downtown TID.
Like, I know when we brought this up during the safety concerns, because we had the incident on First and that back alley, and the alley was identified as
Yes.
one of the issues. And
Yes.
I don't recall if you've lit that up yet or not, but shouldn't that be part of it?
It will be part of, so we'll direct SCH to review the alleys that face the riverway, which would include that alley and specifically. I did do some preliminary digging with Excel Energy. There are some options there. It's just a matter of what we can and can't do for illumination
I get it.
in that area. So
Just as long as we're keeping that on the radar for
absolutely.
safety.
That one and then the alley to the north as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion?
Well, I have one comment, because we did discuss this in Public Works and moved ahead to Finance, but, so we're going to give Allison a tough question here. How much is in our downtown TID? Maybe you know that off the top
I
of your
don't
head.
know it right off the top of my head right now. I mean, we have done projects and stuff out
Some
there.
things might be still pending.
Wait, maybe the new guy knows right away.
$2.
Okay, well, maybe that would be a point for discussion, because this is only to determine what we should do and what it'll cost.
Yeah.
So whether we have funds available to do it, or we need to do CIP in
Correct.
future planning. Okay, anyway, sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, and with the TID, they do know it is not uncommon for TIDs to go negative for a short period of time as they recoup. So it's not
Okay.
necessarily that if it's impossible to use that money, it just would be that it would be refunded back as
Okay,
the
thank you.
This will not break the bank initially.
Sure.
It'll be
It's the
what the implementation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, that is kind of my point, but we'll wait and see,
Yeah.
see what they come up with. So, thank you.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Approve the architectural and engineering. Thanks, Mike. I see you're not going to the back. Approve the architectural and engineering services proposal from OPN Architects for the police department facility. Chief?
Do you want to start, Mike?
I
or-
can, obviously, Finance Committee might remember last meeting, we pulled this from the agenda because we needed some additional review of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing services as part of the remodel. We have since got that number back from OPN, who has been involved for the past few years, working with Chief and myself and previous administrator on the work that's going to be done in this facility. It is a little bit more extensive because it was obviously a manufacturing facility. It's got a lot of power running into it. For what they had in there was clean room space and other things. So we needed to really kind of lock down and dig into kind of what that mechanical, electrical, and plumbing design service would look like. We have that number now. Jeff, I just was reading it to Brent a minute ago. It was, what was that number for
The additional or the total cost?
the additional?
It's like
147.
147.
147 on top of the 299,000 for the rest of the architectural services. Our construction manager at risk, Ross Anderson, has reviewed that and compared it to other facilities they've done, and it is within line of what they anticipate for a facility of this type that will be converted from a manufacturing facility to a police station ultimately. So we wanted to make sure that those numbers were accurate and that we weren't paying for something that we didn't want to be paying for or extra. So Kraus has assured us of that. So with that, we'd recommend approval.
I have a question. Who's going to be doing that engineering consulting then? Are they selecting who they want to work with, or is it someone in their in-house team? You're listing mechanical, electrical, plumbing, technology.
Yep. So Jeff, I don't know. They have subs.
Yeah, they have subs that they work with.
So we don't have to bid that
Correct.
process. It's
Yep.
part of, this is what they are saying it will cost maximum.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Did we have a motion on that?
And the bonding, we bonded, we had how much aside? Are we talking the full amount we bonded for? The 23, 24 bond? Or was this separate?
This comes out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lump sum?
Yep.
Out of the total project cost.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Discussion possible action on change order number 1 for the City Hall ramp reconstruction project in the amount of $17,696.23.
Yeah, speaking of change orders, Randy, I have one in front of you for discussion tonight. So when the contractor was here last week to start the ramp project out front, they were doing some preliminary staking, and basically they found that the plans were incorrect. The architect did not account for the drop, basically from the sidewalk at the base of the stairs to the sidewalk at the edge of 3rd Street, okay? So basically what they did is they put together a change order in the stated amount to keep the ramp compliant. We could construct it per the plans, but then it wouldn't meet ADA code. And the reason why we're doing this ramp is to meet ADA code, okay? 2 things to consider. Number 1, in your packet, I did kind of highlight the new ramp detail. So instead of it terminating right at the edge of the building, the ramp is gonna have to stick out the side of the building about 6 additional feet, okay? And then it goes all the way down to the sidewalk before it turns to the north and connects into our walkway up to City Hall, okay? So that's one thing to consider. The second thing that I did want to mention is I did reach out to the architect already to kind of have some preliminary discussions. I'm gonna be contacting our legal team to review the agreement that we have in place with them to see if we can pursue some reimbursement costs for their oversight.
That was my next question.
Yeah. So obviously, when you hire a company to come in and do the job, you want them to have plans that are going to meet the code, right? So there's a couple contradicting things in the agreement that I'll have to have Mr. Vivian review and our next course of action. The reason I'm bringing forward this right now, instead of kind of going through that process and then bringing back, is obviously there's tight timelines with the upcoming elections, with walk-up voting and in-person voting, so on and so forth. We need to have the project completed by the end of July. If we were to kind of prolong this, then I don't think this project is going to happen this year because you go right from August into the November elections. It wouldn't allow us enough time to build the ramp. So that's the reason I'm bringing it forward tonight, kind of putting the cart before the horse with the reimbursement, but in order to stay on the proper schedule, that's why it's here. The overage, obviously, identified two areas that we could take it from. The undesignated capital, which is where we took the original overage out of, or American Rescue Plan Act funds. There are some monies available in there as well.
Well, I'll move that we allocate out of undesignated funds an additional 20,000 up to, in case anything else pops up. I'm not real excited about the process that this whole thing has taken place, but I really feel we need to do this to be ADA and it'd be a lot better. Let's do it right, let's get it done, and then let's go back and fight for the BS they're pulling on this whole design review.
Yep.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion?
Yes, please. How much is remaining in our American Rescue Plan Fund balance that we only have another year, calendar year to use?
It all has to be assigned, actually under contract by the end of this year.
Under contract.
Under
okay.
contract means we have to have a contract signed in hand. It can't just be designated by council.
Well, and I know we've discussed that that there may be some projects that Public Works Department was going to use them on. I don't know that it's been spoken for yet.
Yeah, I
Has
think we had
it?
around 43,000 for
Is that
public
roughly?
works.
Trying to open the
projects,
worksheet
yeah.
here.
Thank you. Sorry, Allison.
You want to still keep that free though, right? And
Well, right now
find the
it's-
project, assign it, or,
We'll need to use it on something this year. I agree. I am disappointed that this is not quite 8% overage, you know. And let's quit numbering the change orders, please, because that implies there might be another one.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, right there.
Sorry.
I hate change orders as much as
I
everyone
know.
else does. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's not get to 2 and 3.
Yeah.
To your point, Randy. It's an important project, and we do have some money in the undesignated fund, so.
And sitting in the Public Works Streets projects full is about $43,000 currently. So as projects have closed out, if there was extra, that's where it was moved.
Sure.
And then it'd be same things, if there's another one that wasn't going over, then they'd have to look to use some of that as well.
that lighting project, we could use $43,000.
True. So, well, it was, the remaining ARPA funds were designated to a public works project, which this stairway is certainly. But I know we may need some flex on other areas, so I don't object to taking it from the undesignated capital. I just know that, you know, we just did.
Well, we got to
take-
shut that spigot off at some point. I agree
Exactly,
completely.
right. It's like,
Yeah.
can't keep going to that well.
Yeah, I
So
agree completely.
I admire how fiscally careful our city has been, and we want to continue that. So at any rate, I definitely will support that we move forward, so.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Mike. Interim Finance Department support.
This one's pretty straightforward. Obviously, we're losing our current finance director, unfortunately, at the end of this week. And with that, I did reach out to Ellers, who everyone is probably familiar with from our bonding experiences and our general finance consulting services. They do offer support for communities in transition. It's timely in this scenario, obviously, with Brent starting, obviously, the CIP process and the budget, unknowing when we'll have a new finance director on board. So having that support for our existing staff and for new staff, myself included, will be helpful. It's looking at about 8 to 12 hours a week initially. 8 of those, it'd be basically 2 4-hour days a week initially in office to assist and help us out. And obviously the nice thing about the person, her name is Robin, that would be helping us, as she comes from a background of 30 plus years of municipal finance experience, largely across the river, but also can lean on the rest of the others team, like Sean and our investments group that we use. I think it'll be a really helpful, I guess, interim solution, you know, until we get somebody new on board. So with that, it's an hourly rate that would go through me and obviously Brent for approval for additional hours and things like that. If something comes up that's going to require them to look into, and the funding would come out of the savings from not having a finance director on staff.
What are the build standard rates that Ehlers is sending us?
$294, I believe, hourly.
Okay.
$245, sorry.
What'd you say?
$245.
45.
Oh, the same as they're going to bill us for this?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, lawyer, you probably just going to rate it, never mind, but.
That's what he's saying, that's what he's,
Dangerous
he
precedent.
started to say and then started,
Yeah.
maybe he wanted to stop himself.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion and second to approve. Any further discussion?
Quickly, Kathy Edwards is going to be part of helping out.
Oh, yeah, and Sue, and Chrissy over at Utilities. It's all hands on deck, just,
Okay.
you know, like it was when Aaron left. It's just, we gotta get through it, and you need the resources to help you get there.
Okay.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Hudson Urban Sewer Services Area Plan.
Again, we've talked about this in the past. Our sewer service area plan was last updated in 1997 and is woefully inadequate. The state just came out with some funding through the regional planning commissions to help communities with outdated plans update them. Our regional planning commission, the West Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, recommended that we do a joint application with the city of Menominee for some cost savings. For a grant application of $50,000, our estimated share would be $13,000. We don't have that really dialed in just yet, but I at least wanted to bring it to the finance committee and the council for approval. And then once we get a locked in number, we'll bring it back again. But we do want to see this grant application move forward, as it's something that it's not really an option. We do need to get it updated, and if there's some free money out there, I don't want to say free money because nothing's free, but if there's some found money that we can access, I think it would be a useful path forward. So we'll dial into where exactly we pull that from in the future, but I am looking for authorization to move forward with that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Go ahead.
Motion second to approve. Any discussion?
And I have a question, sorry. What does it cost, so we're asking this agency to write a grant application for us.
Yep.
What are we paying them for that service? Is there an upfront cost?
That's that 13 that we're
Okay.
looking for that we're contributing to this.
Okay.
I will have like I said, I'll have a more detailed. It just came out. That first deadline is that June 30th deadline to get the grant applications in. There'll be a rolling thing. In talking with Regional Planning Commission, they feel pretty confident that we'll score very well, considering in 1997 was the last time we did it.
Our growth and.
Yeah, and we've got growing pains. So
Okay, so we're
Yep.
hoping to get, we're going to pay them to do the grant application.
Yeah, but the whole plan itself would probably be around 55. That was I don't want to quote him, but pretty close to that.
Thank you. So as far as some of the things that were outlined about starting a planning committee and who would be on it, that won't happen until we might receive the grant and then we start the process.
So we get it going. Yes, we start that process. And that's all statutorily defined. Yep.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. I don't have anything. Anybody?
I just want to keep the IT staff member conversation going.
Yeah.
And now that Brent's here, obviously he's got a lot of learning and stuff, but
Okay. Once again, I would like to thank Allison. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you for all you've done here, helping us navigate through all these different hazards. As we,
We've had some interesting times.
yeah, we have, and it's been a real enjoyable time with you here. Appreciate all you've done. Thank you, and best of luck wherever you go.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Best wishes. Thanks, Allison.
Anybody else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. We'll give it a few minutes and we'll start the council meeting.